it up.
All right, we're back for another fucking episode.
Yet again.
Here we go. Today we're going to talk about events we don't like. Probably bad experiences with events.
Not rad experiences.
Not
Worst events we've ever done.
Worst events, yeah.
Or not done.
A series of
Oh
events.
yeah, we can guess which ones are bad or worse too if we want. Our worst experiences or soon-to-be experiences, if we're going to do that. Anyways,
Let's get this beer out of the way.
let's start on this side. We got Mr.
RJ.
Raging Jack. I remember Carl hostess with the mostest.
I'm still Ryan.
And he's still Ryan. And
wrong.
but before we talk about our events, we're going to talk about this another.
We don't have a lot of faith in this.
We don't, because we had such a bad experience with the last one by this same brewery. Is this the same brewery?
Yeah.
Echigo?
Yep.
And it doesn't say what it is. It just says Japanese premium import. The other one said IPA.
Beer.
This one says beer. It's not giving me a lot of confidence.
I wonder if their IPA means something different.
It was bitter, and it was really bitter, but not in a hoppy way.
Not in a good way.
It means something not Indian Pale.
Oh, this
Nah.
one is strangely flat.
Do your own first.
You don't trust me?
No. Well, it looks really light.
It does look like. Looks like a
Looks
lager.
like a lager.
Smells like a lager.
SMR.
It's totally sour. It smells like a lager. Here we go.
Smells like a lager.
Beer.
And it tastes like a lager.
It's a beer.
That's a
Hey,
beer.
It's a lager.
That's way better than the last one.
The last one was bad. This one,
That's not
the
bad.
head's going quick, but so does lagers for the most part.
You're not going to offend anybody with this.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't bum me out. It has a little bit of a flavor that's going to set it aside, but I'd had to struggle to find it. Like if you said this is, if
This
you
is
blindfold
very-
me and then you told me this is Kieran, I'd believe you.
Right.
This is very welcome after the last one.
Yeah, the last one sucked a big bag.
Yeah.
Lager. Japanese rice. It's their rice lager.
It's a rice lager.
The rice is nice.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw the alcohol, but I'll let you guess.
That's
How much alcohol?
4.8.
Alright.
Hold on, cheater.
No, there's not on that side of the can. I tried to cheat. 5?
As a matter of fact, 5% by volume, so it's not a very strong one.
It doesn't taste like much.
No, it doesn't. This is one of those you could have with sushi, whatever.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. Summer's coming around the corner. As a matter of fact, we're kind of dying right now because it was
Bowl of spaghetti.
90-something degrees in Orange County, which is really unusual for May. But that's what it is.
It's okay. Global warming's a hoax.
Totally.
Damn Al Gore.
Totally.
Konnichiwa.
Alright.
We should hire
Oh, I guess we gotta rate it.
RFK Jr.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he'll solve it.
Rate that shit.
All right. Let's give your rating. Let's go this way this time.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Ooh.
Oh,
Wow. His ratings have been higher lately.
7.2 for me. I think we're right around the same
It's
place.
inoffensive.
Yeah. I could drink this, and it's nice enough.
If
where I
it
could
was
drink
colder,
these.
it would be better.
But yeah, it feels super
Yeah,
cold.
but you were taking a crap just a second ago. We were waiting for you forever. By the way,
You can't rush excellence.
you can't. You said something about like the size of a forearm.
Oh no, it was. You're gonna need to retire that bathroom.
Okay.
Full remodel.
That is not a job for Mike
If there was
Diamond.
wallpaper, it'd be coming off right now.
Correct.
Okay,
Just
making
peeling.
sure.
Just running. Just
Okay. All right.
RJ.
RJ, Mr. Jackhammer.
I'll give it a 7 also. It's
Ah,
not bad.
I think we're all in agreement here.
Nice.
This is one of your favorite beers, I think, right now.
This one has
Man of 1,000 words.
yeah. It's
not offensive.
Unoffensive.
beer.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not particularly beery beer, but it's beer.
I don't know what a beery beer is, but this one's
The
empty.
last one.
I'm gonna have a little bit more. I'm enjoying it a little bit. A little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's a little bit malty.
Not a lot, just a little bit.
Should be.
Yeah.
As 50 Cent once said.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about our topic. We're going to talk about events we didn't like, or we think we probably wouldn't like.
Not red.
Not rad.
Things that weren't
Does anybody
rad.
want to take a stab out of this one?
Hardline on a gravel bike?
No, you should know. These are the things you experienced.
Yeah,
Things
you just-
we
You
didn't
actually
think we would
experienced.
like. I don't think I would
No,
like.
you should do things that you experienced.
Okay,
that
so-
were shitty.
All right.
So last weekend,
Let's get this story.
I have a feeling
I-
we should leave this to the end. We should
we'll
probably
let me rant at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start at RJ then.
Okay, I'll start.
Starts with an I, ends with an M.
It was a half one of those.
Kona, baby.
So if you guys know anything about Wildflower, it's a half Ironman race up in Lake San Antonio, up in Northern California.
Mm.
And everybody comes and they camp out, and then you race and have a big party afterwards.
Are there s'mores?
If you want to take them, sure.
Okay.
So the first year that I did it,
Oh, you did it multiple times.
yeah, I did it multiple times.
You really committed to the bit.
Yeah. So it was not rad.
So you just
Slept on the ground all night long. So if anybody knows me, they know I have not a great back. So my back was pretty tight. So after the swim, I was okay. I did the 56-mile bike ride, and the roads in Northern California are not rad. So a lot of bumps and a lot of
And you're probably riding 19 mil tires at the time.
exactly.
Pumped up to 130.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. So
The bum
my
rattle.
back was just trashed after the bike ride. So I didn't make it through the run. I didn't even make it to the Naked Aid station. So that was not rad either.
Excuse me?
You never heard of the Naked Aid station at
No.
Wildflower?
When would I have heard?
Yeah.
Oh, you're missing out.
Do I look like the naked Iron Man type?
Is it what is it what you think it is?
Yeah,
Naked-
you still haven't explained. what
Yeah,
this
like,
is.
explain it. So,
So on the run, you go around this bend in the lake, and the people handing out the refreshments are
naked.
not wearing any clothes.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's usually co-eds from San Luis Obispo.
Oh,
Okay.
Well, that sounds a lot better than what they promised at BWR one year with the Oasis.
Oasis.
Yeah, that was kind of a mess.
So it's what you think it would be.
But that could be a good thing, right?
Yeah, it was a nice surprise.
Okay.
6 miles into
So
it.
why was it bad?
Because I couldn't finish the race because my back was trashed.
Oh,
Sleeping
you're a
on the
personal
ground.
it's a bad event for you, but not necessarily a bad event.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Is there just no
because you've
hotels
done it
available?
multiple times.
Yeah, I think I did it 5 or 6 times.
Oh.
What?
Wow.
So
Okay.
Get
Slept on your back all those times.
after that we rented an RV and we slept in the RV and it was much better. Had a
Okay.
great race.
Some
PR.
glamping.
You
Yes.
did some glamping.
Exactly.
Okay. How about you?
Oh, you.
Oh no, you go
I
first.
think Carl, you
Okay.
should go first.
So I have a couple.
So I'm gonna offend
couple.
some people.
I've done the death ride in the Sierras.
That
And
sounds
it's,
fun.
It was what you would think. So it's 15,000 feet of climbing, and you go over like 7 passes of the highest passes in North America, and like you literally go up like 7-mile climb, and then you descend, and then you do a 180, and you come back over the same pass. And I remember every time we'd go over there, because it's like 120 miles, and with 15,000 feet of climbing. And I remember like looking up, and it's a crowded
Event.
event. So you see this line of ants just going up this climb forever, and there are these big mountains, so you can kind of see the whole way, and you just see a string of ants. And then when you descend, there's so many people. There's all these guys with flags slowing people down, so you can't even descend fast because there's people coming up the other way because they're coming up the same climb
This
as
sounds like my nightmare.
so you're trying to go, you're like, I just want to get down and I want to kind of hammer and have some fun, but you can't because there's so many people. and they're waving you down and everything. Then you turn around and you come back up. And I remember it was averaging like 7% the whole way. And it's like...
And what altitude are you at?
It wasn't that bad because you're starting... I think you start down kind of equal to like Death Valley when you go up to like... I don't know. Like, sometimes you start higher, sometimes you're like... But so it was all over the place. You total accumulation of 15,000, but...
Okay.
Yeah, some of them were a little bit higher.
This isn't in like Colorado.
California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sierras.
Got it. Yeah. Anyways, you're in the kind of the Whitney range, Mount Whitney range, and it took me like a little over 10 hours to do the whole thing, and I was moving. And I remember we started off as a group, but you're going so slow on the climbs because there's so much climbing and it's so steep that you're just barely going faster than like walking pace.
What gear did you use for that?
Well, I had a big gear back then too. I was on a
What size?
39, like 28, just mashing.
Oh no!
And I remember to try to pace myself slow is just like don't torque on it hard. Try not to at least. And
So
then,
when is your knee replacement happening?
I know, huh? Luckily, I was a lot younger, but
Jesus.
I remember like having an earbud in there because I knew it was gonna be like I could just. So I listened to like books on tape, and I went through a book. And I was like starting out, and then my phone's like dying, and I just remember everything about it. And then like, I think there was a sag stop at like 105 mile, and they still had like, I don't know, a few thousand feet of climbing to do. And it's like, we started to splinter up with our group because at this point, like, you're not having chats with your buddies anymore.
You ran out of things to talk about.
Yeah, and you're just like, I just want to put my head down and I'm over it. I'm like, I'm done. I'm smoked. You're going so slow. You're not really like, I mean, I wasn't cramping and everything because I was just trying to pace it, just go so slow that you don't kill yourself. And it was just like, just get home. And then I remember we started at like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Ugh.
And it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and people were still like way on the course. And I was kind of hammering, and I think riding time was over. I could be wrong because it's been a while. It was like well over 10 hours. And the guys I was riding, including one of my brothers, we split up at like the 100-mile mark. And I was like, I got to just finish. And I just go. And everybody started going solo. And I remember rolling in and then meeting up every day. And, we're having beers later on and everything. And you're pretty smoked. And
So one beer, you'd be dead.
Dead, yeah. And people are looking at it, they're, oh, yeah, did you finish it? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And they were like, are you coming back next year? I'm like,
Why the fuck would
why
I do
the
this
fuck
again?
did I ever do this again?
Why did I sign up for the first one?
They're like, it was so, and I'm like, that was, okay, so one is, it was hell. But I mean, that's, I guess.
How many of those people are in AA now?
I know. And the thing is, like, to me, it's boring as hell because you're going so slow.
Yeah.
Like, literally, when you're doing a climb or something, you get a little bit of that, competitiveness, and you want to stay on this guy's wheel and everything. You don't do that when you're
Not
doing it
for
for
8, 9
hours.
hours.
Yeah, you're not doing that. You're just, like, surviving, and you're just, like, you're not going fast, and you're trying to get the thrill of it and using your bike handling skills because you can't, because the guys with flags are slowing you down and everything. So you're like, and the thing is, it wasn't like 5 of us where you're like, okay, I feel very accomplished. You're like, you feel like, oh, I'm, experiencing this. This is a big accomplishment. But you don't feel that way when you see a line of ants going up the side of a
You
mountain.
don't feel very fucking unique.
You don't feel unique at all. Yeah, and there's just so many people, and you're just like, okay, I'm never doing this again. So that was one of them that was really bad. I think another, I wouldn't say it's a bad experience, but I could see how it was for a lot of people. The Dana Point Grand Prix, which is a pretty big AM Pro event in Dana Point in the southern part of Orange County, was. And they would do it downtown, and this course was kind of sketchy because there was a lot of slightly off-camber turns, a lot of 90-degree turns where you're apexing, and there was guardrails. And a lot of people, because it was downtown, there was a lot of people that come out, and it was next to a brewery and all this stuff. So there was a lot of spectators. And I think there was a lot of people that had like their 5 minutes of fame they wanted it to be in front of all these people. So people are really aggressive in this crit. And I think the last year I did it, and I did it like 4 or 5 years. The last year I did it, there was a crash in every single race except for one of the Cat 5 races.
I figured
It was
be
crazy.
out of anybody.
Yeah, and then you would think that Cat 5, but it just shows you, like, the pro race had really bad crashes. The race I was in had a crash. One guy tried to dive bomb the corner, and it was like metal, like the ones at concerts, those metal railing, they use in parking lots with the legs that stick out. And so they're making 90 degrees with this to come around a corner, and like they narrow it down to go over one of those like start finish line and everything. So and this guy like tries to like we're apexing the corner, and you're following the guy in the front of you with the wheel, and you're like 4 guys wide, and people try to like dive bomb the inside, and this guy dive bombs and then hits the brakes and and then the guy hit me from behind. His wheel went into my spokes. Somebody hit him, and then I just heard it's one of the worst sounds. You just hear carbon and everything getting mangled up in the barricades, and took out like 20-30 people in our group. And it was like the packs are like anywhere from 50 to 75 people, and they cap it. So it's like there's a lot of people. And it broke my spokes. I pulled over, and I think in the first half of the race, you're allowed to swap a wheel, because of mechanical. Then they say, no, you cannot. But I didn't have a spare, but he just broke a spoke. So I was able to be fine. I got going again, and I kept going. But then my spoke was going click, 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 click. And people were like, what are you doing? Get out of here. And I had the adrenaline going. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm going to keep going. And then like a half lap later, everybody's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm being an idiot. I'm going to pull off. So I ended up pulling off. And that was just 1 year. And I remember every year there was always serious close calls. And there was always something, and they ended up pulling it. And if you ask anybody that did that race, they have similar experiences. Lots of crashes and everything, and squirreliness and everything. It did a lot for like cycling in our area and all that, but it just wasn't a good venue. The way the streets were, all that.
So the location is great.
Wide and narrow. There was gutters that were sketchy. There's off camera because there was like semi hills too, like these kind of rollers. But then you'd make a 90-degree turn, and then like
you dive into a roller.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Yeah. So I liked it. It was fun, but it was dangerous. It was sketchy. And then looking back in hindsight, I was like, yeah, that was kind of dumb. I never had a really bad experience, like luckily, but I know a ton of people that crash there and stuff. Anyways.
So last weekend, I signed up for the L'Etape du Tour UCI Las Vegas Grand Fondo. It's not the Las Vegas Grand Fondo. It's the L'Etape Grand Fondo.
In Las Vegas.
Presented by blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And I figured, I was supposed to be riding to Vegas with friends. They all bailed. So I'm like,
by the way, that's like 200-something miles to Vegas from Orange County, right?
Yeah. And it was going to end up being about 400 miles because you can't take the freeway.
Oh, that's right. I had a buddy that did it, yeah.
Yeah. So I still want to do it. Kind of a bucket list thing, just because why not? Anyhow, last weekend I figured, I'm supposed to be in Vegas that weekend anyhow. Might as well go out and do that event, and that way I get something and I don't feel like I'm too left out.
Mm.
Sign up for it, drag one of my buddies with me, and on the way out there, big ass crash on the 15 freeway, slows us down. We're going out the day ahead of time to make it to packet pickup and sign in and all that shit. Well, randomly an hour before packet pickup is supposed to close, we get an email with no explanation other than, registration and packet pickup is closed effective immediately. If you haven't picked it up, you'll need to do so at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. And I'm like, okay. Fuck me, I guess. I, been in a hurry to try and get there all day, and that sucked. But, no big deal.
Get in the morning.
I'll get in the morning. I wake up at 5 a.m. I figured, if it starts, I think the start time originally was going to be 7:30 or 7:20 or something. I'm like, if I wake up at 5, I can be there by 5:30. I can get my packet.
You have plenty of time.
I have plenty of time.
But it sucks to have to get up that early.
I'm about to walk out of my hotel room. It's 5:15-ish or so. And I get an email. The start's been postponed to 9:30. due to weather. I'm like, okay. So I'm walking down to the car. Excuse me. I go back to sleep. I'm like, I'll get 2 more hours. I'll leave at 7. Leave the hotel at 7. Pack the car up. 7:30 we roll out of the hotel. We get there around 8. Walk over, pick up our packets. And the weather's not bad. Like, it's kind of misty, a light drizzle.
Kind of gray.
Yeah, it's just overcast and shitty. But the entire way there, I'm looking at the weather and I'm seeing like 20-mile-an-hour headwind for the first like 35 of the 75-ish miles. I'm like, okay, that's going to be kind of shitty, kind of miserable. It didn't look like we were going to really have any rain other than like the first couple
Like
hours,
10,
maybe.
20% maybe.
Yeah, and when I was looking at the weather app, it was like 0.02 inches of rain in a 3-hour period. I'm like, not a big deal at all. So we get all checked in. We're pulling the bikes off the car. We wound up just sitting in the car for a while to kill time. Finally, it's 10, 15 minutes before the start. So we're like, oh, okay, let's throw all our shit in our pockets, get helmets on, roll over towards the start. And right as we go to throw a leg over the bike, somebody rides by and is like, yep, event's canceled. I'm like, he's probably fucking with us. That guy's a dickhead. What does he know anyhow? And we start rolling towards the starting line, and my phone vibrates. Right as my buddy's phone vibrates. And I start looking around, and everybody's kind of grabbing for their phone all at the same time. And everybody gets the email that says, the event's been canceled. And it's about 10 or 15 minutes from the start of the event. And
No explanation.
for
weather.
For weather. They said flash flooding in Red Rock.
Ugh.
I'm like, okay. Gotta be careful, I guess. But I go about my day and barely any, like, it was just a light drizzle all day, no big deal, no crazy wind, no nothing. It would have been a fucking beautiful day for a ride.
Mm-hmm.
But what made it seem really fucking sketchy was the guy who was parked next to us when we were loading our bikes back up was like, oh yeah, they did the same thing last year. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe we can get refunds. And he's like, oh no, they won't give you a refund. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, they don't do refunds. They'll just go ahead and give you a credit for next year.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, did I just show up to the bike version of Firefest? Like, is this the bicycle Ponzi scheme? What the fuck?
Yeah.
So
that sounds horrible.
So that sucked.
And that was just last week.
That was last weekend. So I drove to Vegas, all stressed the fuck out, trying to get there on time. Had it closed early. Wake up at the ass crack of dawn the next morning.
No refund, bad communication, the whole bit.
Yeah, and the entire time, you get these event emails, and it's like, there's no phone call. There's no phone number you can call.
Right.
It's a do not reply email address.
Right.
Like,
it's the worst thing about it.
Yeah, there's no one to talk to about any of it. It was just a total fucking bust.
Anyways.
So, yeah, fuck that.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
I will probably be calling Amex to get my money back.
Oh, well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's a good one.
So write in the comments if you've had a bad event like that, or have heard of ones that we talked about, or have a worse story. I'm sure you do.
Tell us what not to say, what to do.
Tell us what not to do so we can avoid stuff like that.
I don't want to go to Firefest again.
Anyways, I think that should wrap it up.
Yeah, we're done. Fuck this. Let's go home.
Yeah, like and subscribe, and make some comments about, like I said, what we were talking about. What sucks for you?
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
Our one listener.
Who's the organizer, by the way, for that one you did? Do you remember? So we can let everybody know.
It's UCI.
Oh, it was UCI.
And that's why I'm like, this is supposed to be UCI, and there is no way to communicate with anybody.
It's the French. Again.
The French again.
Sacre bleu.
We have your money.
We have your American dollars. No, I think it's just like a license name to some local promoter, and it's
shady.
It appears shady. Now, I've never done the event, and it sounds like the event hasn't actually successfully happened.
Is it a new event?
I don't think so.
No, it's been happening for a while.
Obviously, the guy who was parked next to me tried to do it the year before, and
But did you heard anything from like 5 years ago?
No, I haven't found anything.
Anyway.
I know it's been going for a few years.
Yeah, I just kept getting ads for it for the last fucking 6 months, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do this.
Let's do this Firefest.
Yeah, let's go to Firefest.
All right.
All right, that's a wrap.
Peace out.
Peace.